You'd be surprised what comes up in conversation when paleontologists spend long days in the field. Some of it is deep time in ancient ecosystems. Some of it is, well, trying to remember our fourth favorite hat. This is Fourth Favorite Hat, a look into real dig site chatter of the Montana Dinosaur Center. Each episode brings you the work, the stories, the arguments, the questions, and the odd tangents that emerge when you put scientists, shovels, fossils, and too much sun in the same place. And yes, every guest still has to answer the only question that really matters. What's your fourth favorite hat? Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Andy, and my fourth favorite hat is my South Dakota Badlands dad cap.
I'm Brett, and my fourth favorite hat is my Champlain Lake Monsters baseball cap.
I'm Bryce, and my fourth favorite hat is my wide-brimmed Denver Zoo hat. And today, we're joined by a special guest, Steve, the president of our museum's board.
Well, thanks for having me. My fourth favorite hat is a 25-year-old Cubs hat. It's got red and blue panels with a big red Chicago Cubs C on it.
Alrighty. Now, Steve is a very exciting guest for us to have. Not only is he the board president of our museum, he's also sort of the museum's tech guy. So when tech idiots like myself don't get how computer works, Steve is the first one to be brought on scene.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's definitely heard me struggle with editing these several times.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm always happy to help and try and smooth things over for you guys.
Yeah. But a wonderful addition of having Steve is, while we may know the science aspect going on in Montana, Steve has a firm grasp on the business, the culture, all sorts of those important things to keeping a museum running. Why don't you tell us a bit about what you do?
So I am an e-commerce consultant and a website developer for my trade, but I also spend a lot of time volunteering in the community. I've been a scout leader. I've been president of the Chamber of Commerce. I served on the Shoto City Council. Of course, I've been on the board of the Dinosaur Center for the last 5 years. I've served as treasurer on that board and currently actually on the end of what I hope is just my first term. We'll have board elections next month, and I hope to continue in that role.
Well, way to dox when we filmed this.
I think people know what our elections are, Andy.
True.
Well,
I
now
mean,
they
it's
know
public knowledge, really.
now they know it's a
I mean-
month before them.
Yeah, but I don't know when we're recording this.
It'll be okay.
With that, what are some exciting projects you see happening at the museum?
Yeah, so right now we are in the middle of the first year of a 5-year grant that was awarded to the center. It's worth, for the center specifically, it's I think it's 1.21 million for expansion to our gallery. And it's part of a larger grant for the Shoto and Bynum area community that helps enhance tourism, part of the pilot community tourism grant program from the Department of Commerce in Montana. Some of the organizations that are also involved are Old Trail Museum, our neighbors to the south of us. They are also doing a plant expansion, part of their campus expansion, and the Weather Beater in Shoto, which is agricultural FFA 4-H kind of thing that they'll be modernizing and winterizing their big space so they can host more events over the winter.
That's really impressive that they're able to beat weather.
It's true. I mean, that's the whole goal of it is when those crazy Montana windstorms come through, they'll be able to continue to do stuff.
It does get windy here.
Oh boy. The last month has been pretty crazy with windstorms and all sorts of weird weather, so absolutely.
There's the running joke that Montana's population is mostly cows. I would like to posit that its population is mostly wind.
It's true. There's actually a really cool weather phenomenon with the wind where we are here 10, 15 miles off the Rocky Mountain front. When the air above the mountains gets superheated, it kind of churns right up above the mountains and then can whip off, like literally whip, like a whip crack, whip off the mountains and send wind just barreling down the mountainside across the plains at extremely high speeds. And it oftentimes is very, very warm. And so it can go from something like, 20 below to 60 degrees in a matter of hours with this, what's called the Chinook winds. And it's a crazy, crazy cool weather phenomenon.
Well, isn't a town in Montana holding the record for the most temperature change in a single day because of that?
Oh yeah, I believe it's Cutbank had the largest weather swing, like something like 90 some degrees difference in within a 24-hour period.
That's
Yeah,
a
that
huge swing.
It's a huge swing.
Yeah.
that takes the need a sweater in the morning and regret it at night to a whole new extreme.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not just a sweater, it's the sweater's under 3 other layers and on top of 2 other layers, and yeah, then you're stuck with, all of these layers and it's 50 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I think it's better that way than the other way. You're out in shorts and then you're negative 30.
Nah, it's always shorts weather.
That's true.
I mean, there's always the people.
I'm people.
Yeah.
I was gonna give you an out, but
No, no, I'm people.
Now, you may have heard us mentioning Shoto a lot as well. Shoto, being the town closest to Bynum, also has a important impact with paleontology. This is sort of where a lot of work was getting originally done. It's close to that Egg Mountain dig site where the founder of our museum, along with his mother and along with his wife, worked at the Egg Mountain site near Shoto. So Shoto has always had a important tie to paleontology. And I'm sure we've mentioned it before, and I'm sure we'll mention it again. It is mentioned in Jurassic Park.
Absolutely. There's a chopper waiting in Choto.
Well, he
No,
mispronounces
a
it a
jet.
little
A
bit.
jet. Yeah, he calls it Choto, and it's a jet, not a chopper.
To be fair, and again, I'll always say this, it's not like Shoto's pronounced correctly.
True.
Then again, that requires pronouncing it the French way, and I'm not doing that.
No, I mean, it's not as bad as my family back east calling it Chateau, but close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades.
So, okay, I get the hand grenade part. Is horseshoes the scoring system also based off of explosives?
Nearness to the pin.
To like the pole.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like if my horseshoe explodes, do I get extra points?
It depends
You
on if
probably
it's
get
touching
less
the
points
pin.
because I think that's like a foul.
Wait, would it like average the point values of the different pieces and to like give you the
Oh,
final score? Or...
so it has to be like a contained explosion that gets them closer to the nail.
So we're playing Calvin ball horseshoes. Got it.
Yeah, back when I was on my high school speech team, one of my skits, the humorous duet acting, it's acting that's humorous and you're a duet for people who weren't aware. We did a bunch of Calvin and Hobbes skits, and I had to learn the rules of Calvin Ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
So can you explain the rules? Because I was never quite sure on them.
Yeah, if it means Calvin
All of
wins,
them.
it's the rule.
One follow-up question. Did you play Calvin or did you play Hobbes?
Of course I played Calvin. Back in my theater days, I was always typecasted as either the out-of-touch dad or the over-energetic child.
That kind of checks
I mean,
out.
yeah, that tracks.
No, I get it. I fully get it.
Inside you are two wolves.
One's cracking dad jokes and the other is four.
Which did you prefer between those two roles?
Honestly, I liked being the dads.
That makes sense.
So, Steve, what
Mhm.
is your favorite thing about the museum currently?
There's not a specific thing per se, but the general concept of citizen science is something that's pretty important to me, actually. The fact that our mission is to incorporate just kind of lay people into science and the real scientific process, and we act on that through our dig programs. It's maybe not novel per se, but it's such a rare thing in science in general and in academia in general that I really appreciate that we're able to bring people back into it. And you look back on the history of science, especially in the 18th, 19th, 20th centuries, like so many individuals who were not these degreed people were doing science and finding and making discoveries. And it wasn't really like until the mid 20th century where like kind of the ivory towers got really put up and stuff got walled off. And so bringing that back so that people can really engage in science and it's more than just science class where you're doing chemistry experiment or just learning out of a textbook. This is hands-on real science that we're doing and I just very much appreciate that.
You fully had the chance to say us three, but all right, I guess that's a good answer.
You're my fourth favorite part of the museum.
All right. Bryce and I had the second and third.
Right, right.
Okay.
I'm going to edit it so that it's Steve's voice saying, I love Andy. And listeners, you can tell us if I actually did that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think he will.
We'll see. I will agree, though, I do love the whole aspect of getting everyone that we can involved in science. A lot of people's first paleontologists that they meet,
Mm-hmm.
and, they'll be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm just a guy.
A
Like,
cool guy.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I'm not saying I get treated like a celebrity, far from it, but I think a lot of people get that idea in their head. Oh, this is a published scientist. Okay, cool. I also just want to talk to you about dead things.
I mean,
Like,
to be fair, at the museum, you can't spit and hit a published scientist in our area.
in Bynum, sure, it's not a big town.
I will say something that's really novel for me, having lived in Shoto for the last, I don't know, almost 20 years now. Bynum and the Dinosaur Center increases the average population of like higher degreed people by a ton compared to rest of Teton County. I just find that to be very interesting. You got Missoula or Bozeman or Billings where they've got universities and things. There's lots of people with doctorates, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, whatever. Teton County has a relatively low level of college. We're very much agricultural community. So very low, higher degrees, a lot of bachelor's degrees, people who went to MSU for ag or whatever, normal kind of sciences or arts degrees and bachelor's degrees. But we don't see a ton of people with master's and doctorate level degrees. And so it's pretty novel to me that you guys really increase that average in our area.
Nice.
But you never
They,
thought of that.
Wow,
well,
never did.
Well, can't say I did.
I
Get
guess
on
that's
it, Brett. You leave that in.
Is that why they call him Bryce, average improver, dig man?
What?
I mean,
Actually,
that's what people
that
were
is
calling him all the time, and I never knew why, but that makes sense.
yeah,
Uh,
that's actually exactly what they call me. They call me
Yeah.
that.
If any of you guys come out to the dig and you guys meet Bryce, make sure to call him that.
He'll know.
You'll get a prize.
One of
Man, it's the
Bryce's
internet.
pinky bones. Do you think we can start our own form of reliquary?
I don't see. I mean, isn't that kind of what we already
Isn't
have
that
in the
what we
cases?
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
But like we haven't
isn't
been
that just like
saying that it'll ward off demons or anything, like
I
Saint
mean, have you seen any
Dionysius.
demons at the museum?
Yeah. Anytime I look in the mirror, there's one.
Andy, you're not supposed to let away the secrets that we're keeping away the demons.
So something that I'm very excited about that I've been promoting at the museum is our collection software. It is a very interesting product slash service called Tanacan, and it's a WordPress plugin that I've been pushing pretty hard. It was made by a bunch of museums and universities in Brazil, and it's an open source project. It is a WordPress plugin, and it is a fully fledged collection software. And you guys have been engaging with it a whole bunch the last few months, and I know Dustin's been in there quite a bit, our executive director. And it is just a really novel, cool piece of software that, again, geared towards making stuff accessible for everyone. It is open source. It is makes it so that we can display our collections online for people to look at and examine once we are ready to make it go public. It's a pretty cool piece of software, and I'd be curious to hear what you guys think of it and how you guys have worked with it.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's
so
definitely really cool.
mhm.
The fact that it allows us to, get in there and edit things pretty easily, really lets everyone able to access it much easier than our old collection software. Makes you able to do so much more work with it, which is really helping when we're trying to work in research.
It's a lot better
addition
for just finding what we're looking for too. Like the organizational capabilities of it are just league more than what it was before. So it's so much easier to find individual specimens to actually take a look at those and find where they are. And so we can actually go about searching them a bit.
Additionally, we're currently working on securing funding for 3D scanning so that it can go alongside our fossil database.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
that way we have a better amount of knowledge both stored and to be shared. We're currently in the process of dragging our museum into the present and then the future. With that, it involved this new to us system where we're online, what's the word I'm looking? Where
I'm
we
not
are
sure.
archiving our data in a much more efficient manner.
Like digitizing it. Is that what you're looking?
Yeah, that's probably the word.
Yeah, we're
Normally
hoping
when
to be able
I'm
to make our collections mostly available to the public for whatever they're interested in looking at.
Mhm. I'm thoroughly of the opinion if you're not sharing science, it's kind of worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sure, not everyone's going to be looking up XYZ articles that you write or reference. It might just be for people in your field, but that's still sharing it. Exhibits are sharing science.
Totally. And explaining it, making sure that people can understand what's going on and help explain
Uh,
what's happening in the field.
Honestly,
Good
that's why
point.
elevator pitches are so crucial.
Mm-hmm. They're vital. I mean, getting that attention first and then explaining it quickly is important.
Mhm. Not even in a looking down type of way. It's just
No.
you have to assess what's going to work best. I don't expect everybody to come in with my level of paleontological jargon. That's
What's
kind
the
of
what's the XKCD not comic?
Oh,
People always, scientists, academics always underestimate like how much more knowledge they have compared to a layperson in the field.
mhm,
That we should tape that up somewhere, quite frankly, because
yeah.
it is very valid. We have to take it down another notch where you think people are at.
yeah, I love that comic. It's like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, nobody knows. They don't. The average person doesn't know much about like silicate compositions, and then they're like, other than quartz, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Everyone knows
very
that one.
apropos.
It is a great thing of I think that's the hardest part of science communication is as dumb as this is going to sound, the communication part.
No, I would not think that's dumb at all. You guys all know that I'm a huge fan of Hank Green. Hank, if you're listening, call me. We can work out something for the
Yeah,
Dinosaur
Steve's
Center.
phone number is
But he talks about that quite a bit. He's a very well-known science communicator with all the stuff he does. And I mean, arguably, ostensibly a professional in the field, an expert in the field. and he still struggles. He still struggles to take what he knows and distills it and synthesizes it to a place where a high schooler could understand it, or someone, even lower in terms of their academic career might know it. It's a very valid thing that it's going to be a struggle.
The way I try to mitigate that is I always just tell people if they have a question, stop me and ask it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to get people to become comfortable with asking the question. Something that I struggled with for a long time is just being okay asking in the first place, or clarifying in the first place. You guys know that I'm not afraid to do that anymore, but it's a huge thing to be able to tease that out of someone.
Yeah. I have a student I tutor, and I'm trying to get her to be comfortable just calling me Andy. Closest I've gotten is Mr. Andy Sir. And it's like, okay, this might be for her sake. Maybe that's what she's most comfortable with. But I'm
No
trying
need for
to,
the formality.
yeah, I always want to talk to people as equals.
Valid.
I think a lot of people are just kind of nervous to ask questions, but I will say, as somebody, whenever I'm talking to people, I love when they ask questions. I mean, it helps me figure out what they're interested in hearing, learning about. Definitely a great way to clarify something, figure it out. So definitely ask questions.
And don't worry. I get a lot of people who say, now this is probably going to be a stupid question. Don't worry about it.
No, I
Question.
think stupid questions are the best kind of questions because it means that you're thinking about something.
Yeah.
You're putting thought into it.
The absolute worst case scenario is I keep it to myself. And that's rare. That's rare that I get it, not rare that I keep it to myself.
So speaking of questions, I've got a question for you guys. Maybe you have an answer, maybe you don't. In terms of the technology that I've helped implement in the organization, what do you like the most?
I think definitely the big signups, honestly, through Fair Harbor. It's really easy to sign up, and it really helps our museum, honestly, reach so many more people.
And where can they do that, Brett?
They can do that through our website.
At tmdinosaurcenter.org.
You could also
Thank
do
you,
it
man.
through our Instagram or Facebook. I think that also has connections to it.
Yep.
At
Heck, I'm
you
pretty sure
know,
we have a link in the doobly doo of the podcast too, for that matter.
The
but I mean,
what?
it just helps us organize our schedules, figure out who's working which day, how many people are going out, and it also helps other people sign up. So it's just really easy.
Have I
Uh,
told you guys the process of how it used to be?
They had to
So
just call in knowing that we had opening.
so yeah, the old process before I got involved with our website and modern tour booking software was you would find us either on the web or through one of our like flyers or hand cards or something that we had out in the world, find out that we did dinosaur digs, and then had to call us while we were open. So sometime, between 8 and 5. And if not, leave a voicemail and hope to get a call back. Once you got someone, they had to, from if they were in like the downstairs area at the gift shop or in the prep lab, had to run upstairs to the dig calendar, a physical paper calendar, big month by month kind of calendar, and find out if there was availability on the day you were looking to book, then run back downstairs to the phone and let you know that it was available or wasn't. From there, if you wanted to book, they'd take down your information, write it down, and add you. Take 10% down over the credit card over the phone, and then they'd call you like a month before the dig and say, hey, what do you want to eat? And more often than not, people would cancel. And so by having people pay up front and get it all done at once with their availabilities online, we've like tripled what we used to do in terms of digs and dig signups. More than triple, really.
In terms of additionally added tech that I think has been making the museum run a lot smoother, run more efficiently, just a social media setup. This is going to sound biased because I'm the guy who makes the silly little post. However, I feel like that goes a long way in just letting people know one, we exist, and two, we're just kind of fun loving goobers who want to teach you about paleontology.
You are goobers.
I've
It's
been
true.
called that a few times.
I'm with you completely that growing our social media presence has been a big boon. Having consistent posting and just kind of, like you said, having a presence has been very important. What about
What's
you,
your
Bryce?
I know we already kind of talked about it a little bit. The ongoing efforts to digitize our collection with the new collection software, the benefits of that really can't be understated. The effect that's had on like, kind of like the physical state of our collections is pretty enormous. Beforehand, like everything was kind of just scattered around. But now that we have this better software, this better system in place, we're actually organizing things in there, so it's more clear where things are. There's not really any much of like a hunt anymore. If we need to see something, we know where it is. We don't need to hunt, anything like that. It's just an easy, smooth process.
I do
Nice.
have to correct your grammar real quick. You said can't be understated. Did you mean can't be overstated?
Yes, my grammar not so good on that one.
Sorry, I had to bust your chops. My mom was a grammar teacher.
I can't believe
You can send them to the school for people who don't speak so good.
Yeah. He needs to speak more betterly.
I do want to quickly note that folks are interested in some of our tech. Not everything's on there, but a lot of the code and stuff that I've spun up is available on our GitHub. github.com/TM Dinosaur Center. Some plugins that I've created for Tanacan. Our bylaws and policies are open source and public. I've created a guest book that works on like an iPad so that people can fill out our guest book digitally, integrates them with their email directly into our newsletter, cool stuff like that. And it's all available open source on our GitHub account.
So, Steve, a big part of being the president of our museum's board is understanding how the museum is, sort of the community, the vibe. What all you have to say on that matter?
Our organization is a big part of Bynum right now. Has been for, a number of years. It's not just right now, but we are kind of a focal point for Bynum, along with JD's Wildlife Bar across the street and the pottery shop here in town. We're the main artery of commerce in Bynum. Granted, there's only 25 like households in the entire town. We have a significant impact on that community, and Shoto too, for that matter, and the kind of surrounding area. We're right in the middle of the trek from Yellowstone to Glacier. We get a lot of folks passing through and stopping because we're there. They wouldn't necessarily stop at the bar, might stop at the pottery shop, but we're a focal point of why people stop in Bynum. We also host the Bynum Teton Water Sewer District. They have their meetings there. We're a community spot for them to have all their paperwork and that kind of stuff, as well as their public meeting.
A big reason why a lot of people tell us they stop is because of our beloved mascot, Rusty the Dinosaurus. People have outright told me that's why they stop. Rusty, for those who might not have seen him yet, is a life-size Dinosaurus. They're kind of a forerunner to T-Rex, and he's got a lot of personality, and I love him.
Very much a homemade product of love.
He has very handsome green stripes.
He does.
Truly.
He does.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone who helped vote on the decision to make him have green stripes.
Yep, I held a contest on social media for people to vote on the color of stripes to paint him, and green won. Half of people voted for green.
Yeah.
Of all the votes.
And it wasn't a small group of people. Like there was a decent turnout on that one.
It was like 50 or something.
Yeah.
And then I bought the color palette Iceland Green, and I painted Rusty with some green stripes. And I'll be the first to say I wanted red to win, but I'm kind of glad blue didn't win because then he would just blend into the sky.
Yeah. No,
But
it stands out for sure.
I had to be fair and include a bunch of different colors.
Mm-hmm. No, it'd be fun to have, purple striped Rusty.
Purple, red, honestly black would do well too.
Yeah, I agree.
Although our friend from the Netherlands wanted him to be orange, and I'm like, you're the only one.
Inverse tiger stripe.
It would be eye-catching, but I don't think for the right one.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's sort of the whole point of Rusty's face. I always love to tell people when they notice that he's got two different colored eyes. It's a hyper-specific reference, but I say one eye can see the past, one eye can see the future, but he's blind to the present. Oh, wait, that's Kairo's Fate Weaver. And most people don't get it, but if there's a Warhammer fan, they love it.
You get a lot of those?
I've gotten 3
Okay.
out of 3 years of doing it, so averaging 1 a year.
There you go. Yeah.
That's enough to keep me doing it.
Pretty soon you'll have enough to start a newsletter.
So, Steve, if there was one thing you could add to the museum, what would you add?
From the board perspective, and not speaking for the board itself, but just from the perspective of someone who's on the board looking at the museum holistically, the thing that I would really love, truly, is adding on staff housing and like an external staff housing area with your own relaxation area or personal area outside of the museum building itself. Not that I don't enjoy having you guys around and having space for you to work and hang out. I think it's a little on the unfair that your lounge space is in your workplace. Love to have dormitory or hostel style area on the backside of the museum, apartments or something like that. Hotel room style, not necessarily cook area and bathroom and kitchen and all that, but a shared bathroom, shared kitchen area, and then like sleeping spaces for you guys to have.
No complaints from me on that front. If any of the listeners also think that sounds neat, feel free to donate to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that on our website, tmdinosaurcenter.org. Got a big red shiny, no, I think it's a big blue shiny donate button right on the website. And in all seriousness, we can't make things happen in our museum without the support of listeners like you. It really does help us go a long way. Andy's been a great asset this year, focusing on doing dialing for dollars and fundraising. Brought in a ton of money to help us, but got a lot of projects on the ground that we want to look at over the next long-term 20, 30, 40 years. Starts with support from everybody else.
It is sort of the scenario where our whole point is getting people involved in science, and, unfortunately, some of that is funding related. I will say it would be nice to have a outside space just because I run Dungeons and Dragons for the museum a lot of times. As much as I love it, it does get kind of cramped doing that in the museum.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm a player in Andy's D&D games as often as not, and it can be a little tight, and folks who aren't necessarily interested in the game, we're kind of in their space no matter what. Yeah, it can be a little tough at times.
But there is a benefit to it in that there's a strong sense of community. I mean, the whole point of that game is just to unwind and relax with friends and coworkers.
It is a competitive game and I win. No, I'm kidding.
Do you? Because I remember killing your character that one time.
True, true.
He got better.
He was a fun character.
I'd also argue Brett wins a lot of the time with just how much fun he's having.
That's true. He has a good time.
That is
And
Oh,
valid.
I
Bowden,
have a good
Bowden
time.
has
I
a
have a
good
good time no
time.
matter what.
I would love it for you guys to run D&D in some sort of serial, maybe in audio only. I don't know, something like that to the podcast. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Potentially
I
offering that as a service is like, hey, pay to play a dinosaur related game in our gallery. Andy is our DM,
Ooh, that would be fun. I
right?
will
Under the
say
dinosaur bones.
I don't know if we have the intelligence required to do an actual play.
Yeah, and it certainly requires a kind of
Je ne sais
nuance.
quoi.
Yeah, je ne sais quoi, nuance. Like we got to tone it down a little bit on some things before we can go public with it. But I think offering games, there are definitely people who are interested in playing, and playing under the dinosaur bones and that kind of setting could be pretty cool.
Believe it or not, there's a significant overlap between people who like dinosaurs and people who like Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
And people who
I didn't
make
know that.
Warhammer references?
Look, it
Oh
kills
no, it's
once a
only one a
year.
year.
No, he makes the reference very frequently. It's only once a year people get it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that once a year is phenomenal.
Thinks about it all year long.
It's
It's
like
the highlight of the
Christmas.
year.
No, people are. It really is funny when we just start talking at a dig site and people are like, "Oh, you guys like Star Wars too?" And it's like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
At what point did you think we wouldn't be massive dweebuses?
Yeah. Guys with this is how I always look at people who get higher level degrees is if you are so focused on one specific academic topic that you go all in on like the hyper niche level of a master's or a PhD, yeah, you're going to be nerdy about other stuff too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce and I have never geeked out over anything.
No,
Not even.
That's
certainly
why
not
they
Brett.
that's why they
No.
call him Bryce Cool Guy Digman.
Digman.
Bryce, anyway, tell us about Final Fantasy.
Yes, the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah. Here, let me show you my perfect Bryce impression. Hello, my name is Bryce Hadrasol. Final Fantasy.
Wow, it's like Bryce was talking.
How'd you do that?
Well, as part of a dungeon master's skills is I have to have at least 5 silly voices I can use.
One of them, you just stole Bryce's identity.
Was I not supposed to? Nope.
Identity
wasn't-
theft is not a joke, Andy.
It's not copyrighted.
And I'm calling the.
Not if I call them first and use my Bryce impression.
Oh
Oh
no!
no!
Hello, police. This is me, Bryce Hadrasaurs.
Hadrosaur phylogeny.
You're donezo, my guy.
Yeah, it's over for me. I can't. It's over.
I think they'll ever have Hadrosaur phylogeny as a category at trivia. One of
Maybe
these
one
days.
day.
Someday.
Statistically
bribe them.
speaking, it has to happen eventually.
I don't think that's true because they reuse categories sometimes.
And they're not Shakespeare's monkeys, my dude.
I know you mean like the monkeys in Infinite Typewriters, but I just kind of like the idea of Shakespeare with a bunch of pet monkeys.
That's my headcanon, that he has an army of monkeys who wrote all of his plays.
Well, there is, I don't know if conspiracy theory is the right word, the possibility that Shakespeare was multiple people.
Mm-hmm. The
I-
academic theory.
Yeah, I don't fully buy it, but I get where they're coming from. Because
Wasn't it-
Shakespeare was a real guy. The idea is just that since he was famous, he would also help his friends out by just putting their things out there.
Publishing their stuff.
Yeah, at least that's the more altruistic approach of it. The other is that he stole it. Hard to say, never met the guy. Part of the reasoning, they're like, well, some of his plays are very different. And I'm like, yeah, that's how playwrights are. Have
you
you
know
ever
that,
met a playwright?
One of Shakespeare's plays is lost and doesn't survive to modern day.
Wait,
And
what?
people yeah, one of the Shakespeare plays. We know its title, and it was like registered and performed at the Globe Theater and written by Shakespeare,
Hmm.
but it's not survived. And people think that it's was an English retelling of Don Quixote.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought when you said one of his plays is lost, I thought you meant the TV series.
No,
I
that'd be
can
a
see
long
how you
play.
get there.
I guess I got lost on the way.
Ayo.
Hey.
Hey,
What even was the premise of Lost?
views.
There's like mist and there's like monsters in the mist.
They're like a polar bear.
Monsters in the Mist, new TTRPG,
Isn't that the premise of a Stephen King book?
probably. Isn't that
There's a
the
lot of
premise
Stephen
of the
King books.
acclaimed game Mist?
Probably. There's City of Mist, where it's the mist symbolizes vague magic and mythology is being repeated.
Haven't heard of that one.
It's more so roleplay focused than like rules focused.
Fair
So, it's fun, but not for everyone. Kind of like our podcast.
So, Andy,
Everyone
what
would
is
enjoy
your
our
plans
podcast.
for our next D&D campaign?
Well, I've thrown some ideas around. One, I kind of like the idea of just recreating the Volsung saga of Norse mythology, but having Yala in it, and I'm sure that can only go well.
With D&D appropriate magic and all that, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these mythical stories, it feels like there's some D&D logic going on, like when to prevent Sigurd from getting stabbed in the one part where he's vulnerable, his wife sewed a red diamond in his shirt over it to be like, make sure he doesn't get stabbed here. You'll
Like he's a
never
Mario character,
Showed off his
Mario
weak
baddie.
point.
Yeah,
you'll never guess what happened.
makes so much more sense in the context of like Mario video games or Legend of Zelda video games.
But like that's D&D logic right there. And Sigurd was like, "Oh, this is a pretty design."
No, I've actually personally never had a bad idea when I was playing D&D.
You leave that to everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the part where your monk got his all of his good ideas splattered on the ground.
repeatedly.
Like
Yeah.
I like normally like we can let like Rice be the bad idea guy.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
not
there's
wrong,
always
not
staff
wrong.
member Bowden. He has some interesting ideas for our D&D campaigns. Certainly.
I don't have to do too much mind games with y'all, and that's wonderful.
I thought you were gonna say you don't understand how Bowden's like decision making works.
I don't either. That's why I don't bother mind games with him, because he's already mind gaming himself. He's not winning it, though.
Right.
There's nothing better than a player telling you their plan, and just, I don't know, it stun locks me for a bit, where I'm like, what did you even just ask me?
Just he asked you how you can win, how you can have the most fun as a DM and befuddle him.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
No, Bowden has fun.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone not have fun?
I have fun. I
Yeah,
like to
have a good
imagine
time.
my players are
I
having
think
fun.
I think everyone has fun.
It's like when I had you guys do the one shot where it was just selling cornbread in hell. And I was like, oh, I'm so worried this is going to be bad. They're going to hate it. And you guys were like, that was my favorite one you ever did.
Yeah, no, it was the best D&D you've ever done. I don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you peaked, Andy.
It's all downhill from there.
Everything will be a disappointment in comparison. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to publish that that adventure.
I then
How
showed
do you
them.
publish that? Like,
Yeah. I showed them my half a page of notes in the Google Doc. I was like, yeah, I knew I couldn't predict where you guys were going to go with it, so I didn't. And sure enough, I was correct. They went places I wasn't expecting.
We did capitalism in D&D. It was fun.
You started selling Devil's stock shares of your cornbread stand. And you know it's
It's
on
all
me for not
rugful.
predicting that, I
I was gonna
guess.
say, and you allowed it.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes life is like D&D, and a big part of it is figuring out ways to share that joy with others, which is why we make good quality exhibits that are very nice and pretty.
It's true, our exhibits are nice.
Getting better every year.
I will agree to that, yeah. We have been slowly, unfortunately, just because staff size, updating our exhibits and rotating out some exhibits, and honestly, I like where they're going, for what my opinion is worth. You guys can always visit our museum and share with us that information if it is improved.
Absolutely. We loved having folks come back and see us from year to year or month to month.
And hopefully, with expanding the exhibit hall, there's a lot of benefits to being a small museum. There truly are, but there are some downs. We just can't show off as much.
Yeah, honestly, base is interesting. It's kind of like not to make it all about D&D this episode, but it's a little bit like D&D where you have the rules that you are set with, the space that we're set with in the context of the gallery, and like we have to get creative with what goes where and how we show stuff off. I'm pretty excited for some of the different ways we'll be able to exhibit our collection going forward.
No, and we mentioned like a good example of that is size. She does not fit, but we figured it out. With more space, though, that's also kind of a double-edged sword because with more space, you have more possibility, but then that leads to analysis paralysis at a point.
I'm a big fan of throwing spaghetti at the wall and finding what sticks.
I mean,
Try it all.
worst case scenario, we take the exhibit out.
Exactly.
It is exciting though. We do have plenty of plans. For instance, once we're done researching some stuff, maybe that can go out.
Yeah, definitely. I would love that. I would love for stuff that you guys publish on to be highlighted as part of what people can interact with.
Can we have Bryce's space be in the exhibit hall so people can see him
Yeah, no, absolutely. Having
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 a Final Fantasy 14 exhibit or whatever he's on?
That could be fun. They could learn all the lore of a completely disconnected world from where we are.
What's your favorite bit of lore from Final Fantasy?
I really do like the background involvement of Ascians and like as you go through the game, you like kind of uncover the mystery of like who they are and like the world that they came from, world it currently is, and that's just a really cool twist to kind of.
When does Sephiroth show up and stab your girlfriend?
Oh, that's in Final Fantasy VII. That
Yeah, but
doesn't happen in this one.
this is 14, so it's twice of 7, yeah?
There is
That's not how
a
math
big
works.
primal, an icon, so like a guy that's like formed by the combination of magic and like thoughts and prayers of things to like make a weird elemental entity called Sephiroth within Final Fantasy 14, who
Dude,
is
this
like
is just
contained by
Warhammer again.
the Allegan.
You're gonna roast me for liking Warhammer, and then you're like, they use their thoughts to summon things.
Well,
Hashtag
yeah, but yours
justice
is
for
lame.
Andy.
Where's the Warhammer MMO?
It wasn't good.
Did they make one?
I think they did.
I would not surprise me.
yeah, no, not at all. They've got a lot of games out there.
Yeah, the Age of Reckoning. It wasn't good.
R.I.P. Age of Reckoning.
Oh, but now we're gonna get like the one Age of Reckoning fan in the comments.
Hey, engagement is engagement, right?
Yeah.
If you are that one fan of Age of Reckoning, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let me know how I'm wrong.
In all seriousness, as far as exhibits go, I would love to see, and something that I've kind of started sketching a thumbnail, very back of napkin idea, is an exhibit talking about dinosaurs in the context of modern media. It'd be a digital display kind of thing, maybe have some arcade game interaction, something like that, various video games, whether they're Jurassic Park related or otherwise.
The Jurassic Park game where you're quote unquote saving the dinosaurs by shooting
Right.
them. It's like the
Jurassic
arcade
World.
cabinet where you get a light gun and you're shooting
Oh,
trank
that one.
darts
Okay.
at them.
There's one on the Super Nintendo that has a very similar concept.
Yeah, and you're saving them with your trank darts and trank grenades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's healthy. Brett and I have talked about this one that we want to make. We just kind of need the space, but a sort of geomythology exhibit, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
is talking about how geologic factors have influenced folklore. A lot of times that's going to be earthquakes and volcanoes, but fossils have been a huge proponent of that. And especially we want to see if we can tie in local Blackfoot legend.
Yeah.
I think that'd be very cool.
When I worked in South Dakota, I talked with several Lakota people about how they interpreted these fossils and tried to get an exhibit going there about what this means. I love the influence of geologic factors in culture and folklore. It's so deeply fascinating.
I've always been fascinated by like the parallels of dragon mythology across cultures,
Oh,
across,
yeah.
very disparate cultures, ancient cultures, China and the Vikings and Aztecs all have kind of their own representation of dragon. And it's like, is that because they found giant fossils and big bones? And
I think one of my favorite non-fossil instances of geomythology is the Giant's Causeway, uh,
Mhm.
connecting Ireland, or well, formerly connecting Ireland and Scotland. It's rapidly cooled basalt, which forms hexagonal pillars when it cools quickly, because that's how it breaks. But the story is a giant from Ireland and a giant from Scotland wanted to beat each other up so bad that they had to throw bricks at each other until they made a bridge.
Mhm.
And then the giant from Ireland, Finn McCool, tricked the giant from Scotland, who was gonna win the fight, into thinking he was stronger. So the giant from Scotland ran away and broke the bridge on his way out.
Do you know how he tricked him into thinking he was stronger?
Yeah, he disguised himself as his own baby. So
Yep.
when the giant saw this massive baby with the strength of a regular giant, he was like, "Oh, what's the dad like?" So while the Giant's Causeway might not be relevant to us, there's plenty of stories that could be in our area.
Mhm.
But I think that's gonna do it for us on this episode. I've been Andy,
I'm Brett.
I'm Bryce.
And I'm Steve. Thanks for having me, guys.
of course. You guys have a great day.
That's one conversation down, and there's millions more waiting for us out in the ancient dirt. If you want to join the crew on their next auditory adventure, subscribe to the Fourth Favorite Hat, the Montana Dinosaur Center podcast, available wherever podcasts are distributed. You can follow the museum on social media at TM Dinosaur Center, visit tmdinosaurcenter.org, or swing by the museum in Bynum, about 80 minutes north of Great Falls on Highway 89. Thanks for listening.